country is her family from?
Kazakhstan.
That's where they're from, yes. Former Soviet Union, kind of near Russia, that's right, Kazakhstan. What sport does Maya play? And she's a gymnast. And at the very beginning of the short story, what is our initial conflict? Let's do hands for this one, Celia.
She couldn't go to the spring. Well, she was scared that her parents were going to say no, that she didn't.
Yeah, she's worried about not being able to go to the dance because her parents are pretty strict. They say only school and gymnastics, basically. Like, that's all you're doing. Okay, that was our initial conflict. We go through a little more in the story, and then we find our second conflict, which is... Thank you, Shamia, for raising your hand. Go ahead.
She had to go to the principal's office.
Why? Yeah, so what kind of trouble? What did her brother do? Got in a fight. Her younger brother, who's in elementary school, but remember, she's in middle school, her brother's in elementary school, but their schools are connected. He got in a fight with another student. She's being called to the principal's office to do what? Why did they call her in there? To translate, because her parents don't speak English, because they're Kazakh. They speak Russian. So she's there to locate her parents and to help translate for the principal. And the very last thing we read was her sugarcoating, as Celia put it. What did she do when the principal was talking? What did she do? Someone raise your hand. Elena.
She put it as though the other person that he's fighting is more better.
Yeah. Did she? Yeah. She didn't give a faithful translation, so she kind of lied. She translated incorrectly on purpose. Why? What was she worried about, Eugene?
Her brother getting in trouble.
Yeah, she knows her brother's going to get in trouble, but she's trying to make the punishment less severe. And now we are all caught up, and your notes are ready. Let's practice 2.4. First of all over the place. This is our new standard. Analyze the impact of specific word choices on meaning and tone. Before, we were understanding the overall picture, the characters, and the plot. Now we're focusing in on specific words and making sure we understand the impact. What does that mean? What's impact? What else could you say instead of impact, Celia?
We inspire somebody to do this.
Okay, if you inspire someone, you are impacting them, yes, but what's like a synonym for impact? Effect, yeah. How does that affect the meaning? Good. Okay, we were on page 12. Flip back to page 7 real quick. We're going to do a real quick reread. I know, those pages are real heavy. I know. Whew. You got to muscle up and turn back 4 pages. Thank you. All right, on page 7, at the very top of page 7? Yeah, top of page 7, where it starts with, "But now my mind." We see that? Okay. Let's read this real quick, and then we're going to focus in on specific word choice. Okay, "But now my mind was filled with nothing. It was empty, like a dry riverbed, where there is only cracked, baked earth and nothing lives. I walked into the main office, where Miss Johnson was waiting for me. 'Come with me, Maya.' Miss Johnson smiled at Mr. Walsh. 'Thanks, Tom.' Like a person made from wood, a puppet, I followed Miss Johnson through the main office, down the hall to her office, across from the principal's. She showed me in and closed the door behind us." Okay. We have that passage in our heads. The first section of your notes should look like this. I'm not going to do it all for you. But that first topic, simile. Get your definition down really quick. That's the only thing I need you to write down. The rest is on you. But simile is a type of figurative language. Figurative language. What's the opposite of figurative language? That's an easy way to understand it, actually. There's figurative language, and then there's what kind of language?
Literal.
Literal. So if I said it's raining cats and dogs outside, are you going to look outside and actually see cats and dogs? No. I don't mean it literally. I mean it figuratively. It's a figure of speech. Simile is just a type of figurative language. It's a very common one. If you are a fan of hip-hop or rap, it's like all simile. A lot of it is. And maybe you'll recognize some after today's lesson. So a simile just means it uses like or as. Similes are pretty easy to find because they have to use these two words. They have to use these two words. It was the pencil was blue like the ocean. No, the pencil isn't actually like an ocean, but a part of it is, and it makes you figure out, or makes you understand the author's meaning, you understand the pencil a little better. Like or as is for simile. Go ahead. Okay, there are plenty of other types of figurative language. Simile is the one we're looking at today. Take, let's say, 1 minute, because that's a really quick passage. 1 minute, and in your notes, just write down the two similes from that passage. We just read it. There are two in there, in your notes, in 1 minute, and by yourself. Write them down in your notes, just identify them. That's all you have to do. Don't talk about what they mean, just copy down those two similes, in 1 minute we'll share out. Where we read at the top of page 7, lines 140 to 149. Two similes. Identify them real quick. You can just put a part of the quote. Okay, 30 seconds.
Can I use a Russian?
What do you do? All right, 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take 30 seconds to talk to the people next to you about what you found. Which two similes were there?
Yeah, the same thing. The person made
14 seconds. Okay. Someone raise your hand. What's the first simile we see? Sierra? Hold on one sec. Sorry. All right, we're back up here. Discussion over. Thank you. I was hearing the right answers, Tyler. We're up here. Sierra, first simile.
It was empty like a drum.
Like a dry riverbed. Is her mind actually, literally, like a dry riverbed?
Yes.
No, that's figurative language. And the second simile was, Taylor? Like a person made from wood. No, she's not actually made from wood. It's figurative language. Okay, two similes. Finding similes is the easy part. You just look for them. There's one, cool. What do they mean? What impact do they have? For example, that second one. Can someone read it exactly for me? Can you read that second simile? Can you read that whole sentence? Okay. Like a person made from wood, a puppet. What does that mean? What is the author trying to communicate? This is the harder part. What is the author trying to communicate by using that simile? Nathan.
It's kind of like,
Yeah. What was that? The big word there? Control. Right? Like a puppet. She could have just said, Maya felt like she wasn't in control. But instead, she used a simile that makes it a little more interesting, makes it easier, not easier to understand, but it just has a bigger impact. So how do you think Maya is feeling if she feels like a puppet? Do you think she feels good? No. She's worried, she's scared. It's not like a person, she's being controlled. Go.
it could also mean that her movement is stiff.
Yes, exactly, because the like a person made of wood. Like her movements are stiff, she doesn't feel like herself. Good. Can have multiple meanings. Okay. That's just a quick little intro. We're going to read ahead. We've got about 10 minutes. We're probably not going to get to the second activity, but we're going to read as much as we can. So tomorrow we can start immediately into that second activity. So back on page 12. Back on page 12. Back on what page?